Hey everyone, today we're going to show you how to ship a reptile. First of all, you of course need a proper box for shipping your reptile, or amphibian. This works for amphibians too, this whole video does. But this shouldn't be a box that's just any old box lying around your house. You need a sturdy box in order to withstand the weight of other packages potentially sitting on top of it during transit. The amount of weight that boxes can withstand is actually indicated on the bottom of most boxes. The edge crush test for this 6x6x6 box, for example, is 40 pounds per inch, and the crush test for this 12x9x6 is, as you can see on the bottom, 32 pounds per inch. And these, by the way, are reptile-approved boxes. They are made to ship them. Not only do you need a proper box, you also need insulation for that box. Traditionally, 3/4 inch insulation is used for shipping reptiles. We used to buy 4x8 foot sheets of this at Home Depot, and we took a knife, we laid it on the floor, and we would cut to size individual pieces of foam. It's so much easier, it'll save you so much time, and it's only a couple dollars, honestly, to just buy pre-cut pieces of foam. Just buy the pre-cut foam, guys. It saves so much. As far as the size of the box goes, just use your best judgment for the animal that you are shipping. These are two very common sizes of boxes that are readily available.
These are generally the ones we use.
Yeah, we use these two sizes almost exclusively. This is a 6x6x6. We send our baby hognoses and other small colubrids out in these. This is a 12x9x6 inch box, and we send a lot of our adoption animals and older reptiles in these. They both work great. However, if you are planning on using a heat pack, do not put that with a 6x6x6 inch box, because it can overheat the contents on the inside. Next, you'll need either a deli or a snake bag, depending on what species and how big of an animal you are shipping. The snake bag or deli shouldn't be overly large for the animal. If the deli is too big, like say I put a baby hognose snake in this, it's gonna kind of get tossed around because there's too much internal open space for it, and it could potentially hurt itself. So it's best to use a bag or a deli that keeps the animal nice and snug while also being comfortable. They ideally should only be in the box for less than 24 hours, so if they seem a little bit cramped, it's okay. They'll be coming out of the box ideally within half a day. However, you don't want to just have an animal alone in the deli with nothing else in there. They again could get tossed around and they could get injured. So have some sort of filler in the deli or the snake bag as well. We like to use the small mammal bedding. This is, I think, a proprietary brand for just a pet store down the road. I like using this bedding though. I think Carefresh is a common name for it. I like using this because it's well insulating. It is very soft for the animal, so it's not going to hurt it as it's moving around in transit, and it provides a lot of security for the animal inside of the deli. Plus, it's kind of like a present that you're opening then when the customer receives their new animal, because I get to choose pretty colors. But if you don't want something fancy like small mammal bedding, you can just use crumpled up paper towels, you could use aspen bedding, just something to, again, fill that space for security and insulation purposes. For pretty much the same reason, you'll need filler for inside the box too. Visualize it, you don't want a deli just loose in a box, it'll tumble around. You want it to be snug.
Look at how much space there is in here.
Yeah, so you want to fill that space with more filler, for lack of a better word, and that can be the bedding, it can be paper towels. It doesn't necessarily have to be soft because the animal won't come into contact with it. It's just keeping it secure and like suspended safely in the box. So crumpled up paper or newspaper is just fine as well. Basically, the more filler you have in the box, the more insulated it's going to be as well. So this is good for not only security reasons, but for temperature reasons too. And finally, you'll need something in the box to help maintain a safe temperature for the animal while it's in transit. And this is all dependent on the weather that you're expecting during the transit time or period. So you have to check the weather for both the origin city and the destination city and try to figure out, is it going to be a little warm or a little cool? And how can I keep that temperature maintained at a safe zone for the animal inside? If the weather is going to be 40 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit while the animal is in transit, that's when you're going to want to use a heat pack. And by this I mean a reptile or animal safe heat pack that that slowly releases heat over about 72 hours. Not a hot hands hand warmer. These get way too hot and they don't last very long anyway. We're gonna go into how to use these heat warmers in just a little bit. If the temperatures are gonna be 60 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit during transit, that's actually the perfect temperature for reptiles to travel at. So you want to just maintain that same temperature range inside of the box. And for this, you can use a phase change pack. Again, we'll explain how these work in a little bit. You can also use a cool pack just at room temperature to act as thermal mass. And finally, if the temperature is going to be 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a bit on the warm end for transit, we recommend adding a cool pack to help keep the temperatures on the cooler side. Speaking of weather, it is pretty cold outside here where we're filming, and it's super windy too, for some reason. It's like a hurricane out there.
Yeah, it's like a winter hurricane.
Yeah, but if you need to stay warm this winter, we recommend one of the Snake Discovery skull caps or one of the Snake Discovery beanies. We have 2 different varieties to choose from nowadays. I like a little pom-pom on the top. You can get these at snakediscoverystore.com. Next, it's time to talk about how to prep reptiles for shipping. This is pretty easy. You essentially just don't feed them for a little bit before they go into transit. For lizards, this means not feeding them for like 2 days before shipping day comes. And for snakes, just skip their meal from the week. Oh my gosh. Oh, she's really chowing down. And for snakes, just skip their meal from the week before. The reason why you don't want to feed them prior to shipping is because if the temperature or the vibrations kind of stress out the animal inside the box, they may regurgitate their meal, which is not fun for anybody. And with that out of the way, now we're gonna move on to how to package up a reptile for shipping. For this example, let's just say Rosie, the sable hognose snake, bit me 1 too many times, and I was just fed up with her. It's time for her to go to a new home. We would never do that. I love her so much, it's okay.
That's why you're letting her nom on your finger right now?
Yes, yes. Rosie, you just bit me 1 too many times. I can't handle it. It's time for you to go to your new home. So I'm gonna first get you to let go.
Your finger's
Okay,
free!
my finger is free. That's the first step. Make sure that your animal that you're shipping is not actively biting you.
Or you can chop the finger off and send it with too.
Oh, that would work. Yeah, just have my ring finger along with it. She wanted it badly enough.
Yeah.
As you can see here, we have a medium-sized deli. It gives Rosie enough room to move around comfortably, but not too much room that she's gonna shift around in transit. And then we filled in the rest of that void or open space with just that small animal bedding. We're gonna put the lid on, and she is good to go.
Also
Next,
make sure these have holes.
oh,
Air
yes,
holes.
definitely.
Yeah, that's one of the things that most people kind of overlook, but most reptile delis will have holes.
That's a good point. Yeah, some of them don't though if you get them from a restaurant store.
Yep.
So make sure the deli has holes. Very good point. Next, we're gonna move on to the box. And we, again, highly recommend getting one of the pre-made boxes with pre-cut pieces of insulation. They just fit right on in. And we're gonna show you where to get everything for shipping at the end of this video, by the way. So you're not on your own or in the dark about that. But for insulation, all the sides will slide right on in, and they should be pretty snug. There we go. Now we have a 3/4 inch insulation lining the entirety of the box. Next, the animals still need to have some ventilation to the box itself. Some people will ship boxes without any air holes, but it always worries me that they won't have enough ventilation. So we always recommend poking at least 1 hole on either side of the box. And this is just as easy as taking a Phillips head screwdriver and poking it from the outside in. Just make sure you get through that foam layer too.
I mean, technically, a box isn't airtight, so air will get in, but
Yeah.
this is also puts people's mind at rest.
I'm paranoid, so I poke a hole on either side just to be safe. The next thing you're gonna wanna do is label the outside of the box. You don't want to have the box like on its side and you're labeling it when the animal's inside of it, so we recommend labeling everything first before adding the animal. And by this, there actually are some FedEx requirements that you have to meet as far as labeling goes. You need to have the common name of the species. You also need the scientific name of the species inside of the box, and you need the quantity of each species as well. You don't have to label each side with this information. As long as it's somewhere on the outside of the box, you're good to go. You are meeting the requirements by FedEx. However, I like to then take a red Sharpie, and just to make it very clear that there's precious cargo in here, I personally take a red Sharpie and draw up arrows, just to make it, again, very, very clear. That one already has arrows. And sometimes, on blank sides, I again try to make it very clear by writing live animal on any blank side. And this helps because no matter what angle the box is sitting at, you're gonna see something that indicates there's something fragile inside. Next, we're gonna go through 3 different scenarios, one for cold weather, one for moderate weather, and one for hot weather, to show you what you need to put inside of the box in each scenario. Let's start with winter. It's winter right now. We have our curator, Alex, running actually in the snow right now to drop off some animals at FedEx.
When did it start snowing?
I know, it wasn't supposed to snow today. But anyway, say it's winter and it's going to be below 60 degrees and you need a heat pack. You take your heat pack. Oh no. Opener.
You guys thought you were going to get out of seeing Emily struggling to open something.
I'm terrible at opening things. But you shake your heat pack up to activate it. And ideally you want to do this about 30 to 45 minutes before you put it in the box so it has time to activate. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to pretend that, okay, perfect, it's been half an hour, it is warming up. If your heat pack has a red line on it, that needs to face inside of the box because I believe this is the side that radiates heat outwards. I think that's why the red line has to go on the inside. Just, you're always supposed to put the red line facing the interior.
I think some of them also have a sticky back to them.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be on that side, so then more heat can come out.
Even if your heat pack has a sticky back, they never stick to styrofoam anyway.
No.
So don't trust the sticky backs, like you're gonna need tape. But before you tape it to the underside of the lid to then put into the box, you definitely want to insulate the heat pack with paper towels first. 1 layer of paper towels will do. This basically helps insulate the heat pack and causes a slower release of heat, making it last longer, and it avoids direct contact between the heat pack and the animal, in case it gets out of its deli, which does happen. Once you have the heat pack activated and wrapped in a paper towel, you simply tape it to the underside of the styrofoam and have it on the opposite side of the snake or animal inside of the bin. So Rosie, the hognose, is on this side of the box, so the heat pack is going to be on the opposite side to prevent her from getting too hot. But then you simply push the lid onto the box and it's secure, it's ready to go. We can now tape up the box and it's ready for shipment. Scenario number 2, let's say the temperature outside is going to be between 60 and 80 degrees, you know, that perfect temperature for shipping reptiles. You don't want a heat pack, you don't want a cool pack, instead you want a phase change pack or a room temperature cool pack. Basically something to act as thermal mass inside of the box to prevent temperature fluctuations. For these, you can either tape them to the top of the lid like we did the heat pack, or honestly, since they're gonna be the same temperature as the rest of the contents essentially, you can just lay them inside of the box. Then, as before, put on the lid, tape the box, you're good to go. And scenario number 3, let's say it's going to be between 80 and 90 degrees in the summer during this shipment. And by the way, if it's over 90 degrees, just don't ship your animal. Wait until a cooler week to do it. It's a lot safer to ship an animal in cooler weather than risking them getting overheated in hot weather. But let's say it's between 80 and 90 degrees. It's still on the warmer end for that animal, so you'll want a cool pack. And basically, there's different varieties or styles of cool packs, so follow the instructions on the package of the one that you're using. A lot of people will end up just putting the cool pack in the freezer until it freezes solid. Then, similar to a heat pack, they wrap it with a layer of paper towels to both insulate it and prevent it from coming into direct contact with the animal inside, tape it to the top of the bin, and set it inside. Since it's cold here, for Rosie's sake in today's video, we're going to use a heat pack. So we have it taped to the lid, we're putting the lid on, we are sealing the box. Make sure when you are sealing, you don't take the tape and cover up the holes that you punched in the side.
I've done that and then had to poke so many tape holes again.
I've done that plenty of times myself. And your box is ready to go. So the last thing you need to do is print a shipping label and then drop off the box at a reptile-approved FedEx. Unfortunately, you can't just bring your packaged up reptile to USPS or UPS and pay to have it expedited and overnighted. Really, at this time of this video, only FedEx is approved to ship reptiles, and you have to pre-order your shipping label before dropping off the box. There are several companies out there that will ship reptiles, so there's a few different options, and basically you just have to do your own research and choose which company you want to go with. When it comes to choosing, we recommend making sure that the company is A, approved to ship reptiles with FedEx, and B, known for good customer service. Like, definitely look up reviews for the various reptile shipping companies, because some will offer assistance happens if the package gets lost or delays, whereas others might not as much. So definitely look up reviews just in case there's an emergency situation that needs the company's assistance. We like to use Redline Shipping. If they're not a sponsor at all, we've just had really good luck with them. They have great customer service and they are approved to ship reptiles. We actually have a coupon code from Robin, the owner, SHOW60 if you want to save 60% off of a shipping label if you want to try them out. And again, this is who we use. Once you've decided on a shipping company, you'll have to create an account on their website, and then you just kind of follow the steps that they lead you through when it comes to ordering a shipping label. They'll ask for your address, the shipping destination address, a contact phone number in case of an emergency, the box's dimensions, and the box's weight, which reminds me, you should weigh your box before you even make a label. And you want to weigh them not in grams, but in pounds and ounces is how FedEx works. Let's see, she is 1 pound 7 ounces.
All right.
Oh, Rosie, you're getting big. And once you have all of that information in, you pick a shipping date and you have to choose what style or what priority of shipping you want to go with, which with reptiles, you want the fastest option possible. With some invertebrates and plants, you can let them go a few days in transit and they're usually just fine. But reptiles, you really do need to pick the overnight priority option. It's going to be expensive, but it'll get your animal there as fast as possible. And the last thing that most of these companies will ask for is whether you want the package to be delivered directly to their new home or directly to the address, or if you want the package held at the local FedEx hub for pickup. There's a couple of reasons why you might want to have the package held at a hub. One, the owner or the customer receiving the animal is just unavailable the morning of delivery. They might want to instead have the package held at the hub so that when they're done with work, they can drive to FedEx and then pick it up when it's convenient for them. Or weather is the main reason why we have packages held at a FedEx hub. If it gets hot or if it's pretty cold, you don't want your package to sit in a hot or cold delivery truck longer than it has to. So after a plane ride to its new state, it can just sit at a nice temperature-controlled FedEx hub for pickup. Once you've ordered your label, you can print it off. You can print it off on an actual sticky back label, like we have an actual label printer here at Snake Discovery, but you don't need to print them off on these. If you don't have a label printer, just print it off on normal printer paper and you can just cut out the label part. Then you simply place it on top of the box. Anywhere works. And I highly recommend putting tape across the entire label to make it waterproof. You'll have to tape it anyway if it's just printed on printer paper, but cover the entire thing so that water doesn't leach inside. Looks like Rosie is going to Blountville, Tennessee.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Have fun with Madison, Rosie. And now we are ready to drop Rosie the hognose off at FedEx. You can't drop a live animal off at just any FedEx print and ship center though. You can only drop them off at animal approved FedEx locations. And in order to find one that will accept a live animal package, I recommend going through your shipping company's website. They usually have a page, I know Redline Shipping has a page, where you just plug in your zip code and it'll find the FedEx hub nearest you that will accept live animals. Make sure you drop off the package before the last pickup time at FedEx. When in doubt, you can call them to learn when the last pickup time is, because you don't want to miss that day's shipment. Usually if you drop the package off by 5 p.m., you're fine.
Yeah, most shipping hubs it's like 7 o'clock.
Yeah, I hear West Coast drop-off time is like a couple hours before they close.
Okay.
So yeah, look into your FedEx hub's last pickup or drop-off time to know for sure when it's safe to drop off the package. Okay, we are now ready to bring Rosie to FedEx and drop her off. And would you look at that, when we were at FedEx, there was a package ready for us to pick up. How perfect. We're gonna talk about how to receive reptiles in the mail as well. As soon as you receive your animal, whether it's dropped off at your door or you go to FedEx and pick it up, take the box and open it immediately, but in a safe room, a safe building. Don't open it outside. They could take off. Open it as soon as you can, safely. Let's see what we got from FedEx. I'm so excited. I don't know what we ordered. Oh, we've got a box
looks
here.
really professionally packed.
It does. Someone who knows what they're doing must have packed this up. Oh, and there's a heat pack. Good.
Because it's winter outside.
Still warm. Perfect. And inside, we have another. It looks like a hognose in here. Oh my gosh, it's Rosie. Turns out Madison didn't actually want Rosie because she bites too much.
Yep.
So she boomeranged her way back here. Well, welcome back, Rosie. Okay, so in an actual real scenario, if it's winter time, the animal that you receive will probably be pretty chilly, even if there is a heat pack. It's very important not to put a cold reptile directly on a heat source because you can actually put them through shock and you can kill them as a result of them changing their temperature too quickly. Instead, take a cold reptile and just let them sit at room temperature for about 2 hours until they can warm up and match room temperature. Then you can put them in an enclosure where they have a heat source that they can continue warming up on. But basically, don't shift their body temperature too fast. And vice versa, if they come in and they seem very hot, let them cool down to room temperature and then you can put them in their enclosure and they'll go where they need to thermoregulate from there. So now that we've gone through the supplies needed to ship a reptile and how to ship a reptile and how to receive one for that matter, there are a couple other just little points I want to mention. First, make sure you read the instructions on the shipping company's website to make sure you're following all of their rules since each one's a little bit different even though they have mostly the same guidelines. Next, the tracking number of the box is needed in order to pick it up from FedEx. So when you print off the label, send the tracking number to your customer so they have it ready to go. And third, sometimes delays happen. I don't know, a few times every year we have packages that are delayed for a day, sometimes 2, sometimes people have packages delayed for a week, and in nearly every instance, the animal is just fine. When animals are delayed, their packages usually hang out in a temperature-controlled environment indoors, so they just wait another day in the box before getting delivered to their final destination. And reptiles, being reptiles, handle delays very, very well.
It is also another good point for making sure you do this properly because a reptile can survive in a box that's packaged properly for a few days.
Yes, that's why heat packs last 72 hours, as in case of delays. They should still be fine and well insulated, even if the transit is extended another day or two. Now you might be asking yourself, where do you get all these supplies? Well, we ship several hundred animals a year at Snake Discovery, so we buy everything in bulk. From the boxes with the lining on the inside, we buy these from reptilebasics.com. We get our cool packs and heat packs in bulk. The delis and the bags are all in bulk. But if you're just shipping like one animal, then I recommend actually going to Redline Shipping's website. Again, not a sponsor, it's just a really nice product that they carry. They have an all-in-one reptile shipping kit to ship a single reptile from one place to the next. It includes a bag and a deli and a heat pack and a cool pack, so all of your bases are covered.
Basically everything we showed in this video comes with.
It really does, yeah. So that's what I would recommend if you're just shipping like 1 or 2 reptiles. But if you're shipping 50 plus a year, that's when it makes sense to buy like the 20 pack of these from Reptile Basics and just getting everything in bulk instead. But that officially covers how to ship a reptile.
And look at that, we were able to ship Rosie successfully to Indiana. No, was it Indiana?
Tennessee, I think.
Tennessee and back.
Yeah, and all the way back in one video.
Because she wasn't wanted.
Oh, nobody wants you, Rosie.
If you stop biting people.
Man, people would like you more if you. I love you. It's okay. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something new. If I missed any tips that you think should have been included, put them in the comments below because maybe I forgot something. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you Patreon backers for your incredible support. And welcome back to Snake Discovery, Rosie.
I guess we can keep her.
I guess we'll keep her. Woo!